How does tip credit affect tipped employee pay? Imagine working in a busy restaurant where tips are part of your income. Ever wonder how your employer figures out your wages and if they're following the law? Let's break it down. When an employer uses a tip credit, they can count a portion of your tips toward your minimum wage. Under federal law, specifically the Fair Labor Standards Act, employers are required to pay tipped employees a cash wage of $2.13 per hour. The tips you earn are then used to make up the difference to reach the full federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour. This means your employer can pay you less than the full minimum wage directly, but your tips are supposed to cover the rest. For example, if you earn $3 an hour in cash wages, your tips need to bring your total earnings to at least $7.25. If your tips don't add up to that, your employer must pay the difference. Employers must tell you if they are applying a tip credit. They also cannot take your tips, except in tip pooling arrangements where all tipped workers share tips legally. Tip pooling must follow rules so that your total pay still meets or exceeds the minimum wage. It's important to know that tipped employees are usually classified as non-exempt workers. This means you are entitled to overtime pay at 1.5 times your regular rate, 4 hours worked over 40 in a week. Your overtime pay is based on your total earnings, including tips. Employers need to keep accurate records of your wages and tips. They must provide wage statements showing how much you earned in cash wages and tips. This helps ensure they are paying you correctly and complying with wage laws. In summary, the tip credit allows employers to pay a lower direct wage because they count your tips toward the minimum wage. But your total earnings, including tips, must never fall below the minimum wage. Employers must follow rules about notifying you, keeping records, and sharing tips properly to stay within the law.